What are migratory flyways?
Global bird highways.
Think of migratory flyways as the superhighways in the sky that birds use for their long-distance travel. They're like the bird version of our roads and expressways, but for their seasonal journeys. Why birds migrate? Birds usually migrate to find better resources like food and nesting areas. When it gets too cold or food becomes scarce in one place, they fly off to another where conditions are better.
Pacific Flyway.
This is like the coastal route for birds. It stretches along the western coast of the Americas, from Alaska all the way down to Patagonia in South America. Imagine birds flying over beautiful landscapes like the Rocky Mountains and the sandy beaches of California. This route is especially popular among shorebirds and waterfowl.
Central Flyway.
This one runs right down the middle of North America. It's like the heartland route for birds. They start from the Arctic tundra and make their way down to the grasslands and prairies of the Great Plains, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico and even to Central and South America. It's a diverse route with a mix of birds like songbirds and cranes.
Mississippi Flyway.
Think of this as the River Road. It follows the mighty Mississippi River, a major guiding landmark for birds. Starting from the Canadian tundra, birds travel down through the American Midwest, following the river's course, and end up in the Gulf of Mexico or even further south. It's a super busy flyway, almost like a bird version of a bustling freeway.
Atlantic Flyway.
This is the eastern seaboard route. Birds follow the Atlantic coast of North America, from the Arctic regions of Greenland and Canada, passing through the eastern states of the USA, all the way to the Caribbean and South America. It's a scenic route for birds, with a variety of habitats like coastal marshes and forests.
East Atlantic Flyway.
This flyway is a bit like the bird version of a European road trip. Birds start their journey in the Arctic regions of Greenland and Iceland, travel through Western Europe, and go all the way down to West Africa. It's quite a diverse route, passing over different landscapes like the wetlands of the Netherlands and the Sahel region in Africa. Imagine birds taking in all these sights. African Eurasian Flyway. This one is like a grand tour from Europe to Africa. Birds begin in northern Europe or Asia and fly south across the Mediterranean Sea and the Sahara Desert to reach sub-Saharan Africa. This route is famous for its long, challenging stretches, like crossing the Mediterranean in the desert. It's like a marathon for birds.
Central Asian Flyway.
Picture this as the Silk Road for birds. This route covers a vast area from Siberia in Russia, down through Central Asia, and into the Indian subcontinent. Birds using this flyway pass over some pretty dramatic landscapes, like the Himalayas and the arid plains of Kazakhstan. It's a route rich in history and natural beauty. East Asian Australasian Flyway. This is one of the longest and most impressive flyways. It's like the bird version of an epic Pacific voyage. Birds start from the Arctic regions of Siberia and Alaska, journey down through East Asia, Southeast Asia, and end up in Australia and New Zealand. The distances covered here are enormous, and the variety of habitats, from Siberian tundra to tropical rainforests, is just mind-blowing.
West Pacific Flyway.
Think of this as a Pacific island hopping adventure for birds. This route is used by birds migrating between the coasts of East Asia and the islands in the Pacific, including places like Micronesia and Polynesia. It's a bit more specialized, serving mostly seabirds and shorebirds. Each of these international flyways has its own unique charm and challenges. They connect continents and cultures, showcasing the incredible endurance and navigational skills of birds. It's amazing to think about how these migratory paths, invisible to us, are traced in the sky year after year by countless birds on their epic journeys. It really highlights the interconnectedness of our planet. Seasonal phenomenon. The migration usually happens in certain seasons. For instance, birds might head north in the spring for breeding and then travel south in the fall to warmer climates. Birdwatchers' delight. For birdwatchers, knowing about these flyways is like having a schedule of when and where to spot different bird species. It's like having a calendar for nature's spectacular bird shows. Diverse travelers. A wide variety of birds use these flyways, from tiny hummingbirds to large raptors. It's a mixed crowd up there, all sharing the same aerial paths. So, migratory flyways are not just about birds moving from point A to B. They're about the survival, cooperation, and marvels of the natural world.